I guess I should start from the beginning. My name is Eric and I've been married to Lisa for 7 years. On the surface, we had what seemed like a perfect life. We had our little home in the suburbs, a dog named Max, and we both had stable jobs, me as a project manager in a tech firm and Lisa as a school teacher. Life was comfortable, but lately I'd felt something was off. The spark just didn't seem to be there anymore. At first, it was small things. Lisa would come home later than usual, claiming she was stuck grading papers or out with friends. I brushed it off at first. After all, we all have those days. But then there were the little changes in her behavior. She was more distant, spending more time on her phone, and not really engaging in conversations like she used to. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I felt a nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach. Then one evening, things took a turn for the worse. I was cleaning up the living room when I stumbled upon a receipt tucked between the couch cushions. It wasn't just any receipt, it was from a roadside motel, room 308, the same damn number as our anniversary. My heart sank as I examined it. The date was just a few days ago. That's when my world came crashing down. I remember sitting there, staring at the receipt, my mind racing. What was she doing at a motel? I tried to convince myself that maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she was there for some school-related event, but deep down, I knew the truth. I decided to confront her, even though my heart was pounding and my stomach twisted in knots. When Lisa got home that night, I couldn't hold back any longer. I confronted her right there in the kitchen. "Lisa, we need to talk. I found this." I handed her the receipt, my hands trembling. Her expression shifted from confusion to shock and then to a mask of anger. "What the hell is this, Eric?" she snapped. "You're seriously going to accuse me of something like that?" I could see her heart racing, and a part of me wanted to believe her, but the receipt was right there, proof in my hands. "Don't play games with me," I lied, feeling a surge of anger. "Room 308, it's our anniversary number. What were you doing at a motel, Lisa?" Her face twisted and she crossed her arms defensively. "I was just buying some time, okay? I needed to get away and think. You wouldn't understand. Think about what us or someone else." I shot back. She opened her mouth to argue, but I could see the wheels turning in her mind. When she finally spoke, her voice was laced with irritation. "It's not what you think. I went there to clear my head. I didn't cheat on you." But the look in her eyes told a different story, and my heart sank even further. I wanted to believe her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was lying. The arguments escalated, each word cutting deeper than the last. Eventually, she stormed off to the bedroom, leaving me standing there, feeling like my world had been ripped apart. The emotional roller coaster I was on was overwhelming. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and sadness. I had dedicated my life to this woman, and here she was, lying to my face. I sat down on the couch, head in my hands, feeling utterly lost. The trust I had in her was shattered, and I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. As the night dragged on, I wrestled with my thoughts. I had to make a decision. Should I confront her again? Should I dig deeper into this? Or was it time to consider the unthinkable? Was it time to let go of the life we built together? Each option felt heavy, like a weight pressing down on my chest. I spent hours replaying our years together in my mind, trying to find signs I had overlooked. Had I been blind to her feelings? Had I missed the signs that led her to this point? The questions burned in my mind, but one thing was clear. I needed to know the truth, and I needed to find a way forward, whatever that looked like. As dawn broke, I made a silent promise to myself. I wouldn't let this define me. I would find a way to reclaim my life, but first, I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. Little did I know, the truth would be far more complicated than I could have ever imagined. The days that followed my confrontation with Lisa were a blur of confusion and heartache. I felt like I was living in a fog, moving through life but never really present. My mind was fixated on that motel receipt, the evidence of her betrayal weighing heavily on my conscience. I didn't want to believe she had cheated on me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. I decided to take a more proactive approach. I began to subtly investigate, hoping to find more clues that would either confirm my worst fears or give me some peace of mind. I started by watching her behavior closely. I noticed that she was still spending a lot of time on her phone, often texting in hushed tones. Each time she got a notification, my heart would race, and I'd feel my stomach twist. It was like every ping was a reminder of her potential infidelity. One afternoon, while Lisa was out running errands, I took the opportunity to search through her things. I felt guilty, like I was invading her privacy, but I had to know the truth. I rifled through her drawer, finding clothes and personal items, but nothing overtly suspicious. I was about to give up when I noticed her purse sitting on the kitchen counter. It was uncharacteristically messy, and I couldn't resist the urge to look inside. I dug through the contents, lipstick, receipts, loose change, and then I saw it, a small, folded piece of paper. My hands shook as I pulled it out. It was a note, written in Lisa's handwriting. My heart raced as I unfolded it, revealing a time and date scrawled in the margins along with a name I didn't recognize. "Meet me at the usual spot," it read. My heart dropped. The usual spot, what did that even mean? Just then I heard the front door click open. I quickly stuffed the note back into her purse, hoping she wouldn't notice anything amiss. Lisa walked in, her expression brightening at the sight of me. "Hey, what are you doing home?" she asked, her voice light and cheerful, too cheerful. "Oh, just took a half day. Figured I'd relax," I replied, trying to mask the tension in my voice. I couldn't let her know I was onto something. I acted like everything was normal, engaging in small talk, but all I could think about was that note. The next day I decided to do a little more sleuthing. I had a friend, Mike, who worked at a bar a few blocks away. I figured if Lisa was meeting someone, it might be in that vicinity. I casually approached him while he was wiping down the counter during his shift. "Hey, have you seen Lisa around here lately?" I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. "Lisa? Yeah, she was here the other night," Mike replied, glancing up at me. "Was with some guy. I didn't think much of it at the time. They looked like they were having a good time." My heart dropped. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I forced a smile, trying to hide the turmoil inside. "Really, just catching up, I take it." I tried to sound nonchalant, but my voice trembled. "Yeah, I guess." They were laughing, but nothing seemed too out of hand, he said, looking back at the bar. "But hey, if you're worried, I can keep an eye out for you." I thanked him, but inside I felt like my world was crumbling. I realized I couldn't ignore the evidence staring me in the face. I went home that night and sat in the dark, grappling with the reality of what I was beginning to suspect. Was Lisa really cheating on me? I had to confront her again, but this time I needed solid proof. So I set a plan in motion. I would follow her the next time she went out. I knew it was extreme, but I had to know for sure. I could no longer live in the limbo of doubt and suspicion. The following weekend, I waited. I had an uneasy feeling in my stomach as I trailed behind her car, maintaining a safe distance. She drove to the same bar where Mike worked, and my heart pounded in my chest. I parked a few blocks away and waited, the tension mounting with each passing minute. I watched as she entered the bar, her laughter ringing out like nails on a chalkboard in my ears. I could feel anger bubbling up inside me, mixed with a sense of betrayal. Something told me she wasn't just there for a drink. I waited for what felt like hours, but it was probably only about 30 minutes. Then I saw him. A tall guy with dark hair and a charming smile approached her at the bar. My heart sank as I watched them exchange words, laughter spilling out between them like a cruel reminder of the joy I once shared with her. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the way Lisa leaned in closer, the way her eyes sparkled, it was a scene I recognized all too well. I felt my fists clench as I prepared myself for what I knew I had to do. I couldn't let this continue. I was done simply waiting for the truth to reveal itself. I needed to confront her, and I needed to confront him, too. The sooner, the better. It was time for a reckoning. With determination burning in my chest, I made my way to the front door. As I pushed open the door to the bar, a rush of adrenaline coursed through my veins. The atmosphere inside was lively, filled with laughter and clinking glasses. I spotted Lisa and the guy seated at a booth in the back. They seemed so engrossed in each other, their body language betraying an intimacy that felt like a dagger to my heart. In that moment, I almost turned back. Doubts crept in. What if I was wrong? What if they were just friends having a good time? But as I took a deep breath, I steeled myself. I couldn't walk away. I had to face this head on. I made my way over, trying to act casual, but my heart was racing. I approached their table and cleared my throat. "Mind if I join you?" I asked, forcing a smile. Lisa's eyes widened in surprise and the guy turned to me, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. "Eric," Lisa blurted out, her voice tinged with panic. "What are you doing here?" "Oh, just out for a drink. Mind telling me who your friend is?" I shot back, looking at the guy. He extended his hand, but I ignored it, my gaze locked on Lisa instead. "This is Tom," she said, her voice shaky. "He's a friend from work. We were just what?" I interrupted, unable to contain my frustration. "Just catching up. Is that what you call it now?" The tension in the air thickened, and I could see Tom shifting uncomfortably in his seat. "Eric, can we talk about this?" Lisa pleaded, her expression morphing from surprise to irritation. "You're making a scene." "A scene? I'm just asking questions, Lisa. You've been acting strange for weeks and I find you here with some guy. What am I supposed to think?" My voice rose, attracting the attention of nearby patrons. "Look, it's not what it seems," she said, her tone defensive. "Tom is just a colleague and we were discussing a project." "Discussing a project at a bar? Spare me the excuses, Lisa," I shot back. "You think I'm that naive? Do you think I'd follow you here if I didn't suspect something?" Tom shifted again, clearly uncomfortable with the escalating confrontation. "Maybe we should take this outside," he suggested, glancing at Lisa. "No, Tom, this is between me and her," I replied, my focus solely on Lisa. I could see her face flushing with a mix of anger and embarrassment, but I didn't care. I needed her to understand the weight of what she was doing. "Eric, you're overreacting. We were just having drinks." "Cut the crap, Lisa. I found the receipt. I know about the motel. I know you're lying to me." I could feel my voice trembling, the raw emotion pouring out. I was teetering on the edge of rage and despair. Her eyes widened, and for a moment she looked genuinely taken aback. "You went through my things. Is that how little you trust me?" "Trust? You've shattered that trust into a million pieces. You don't get to flip this around on me," I shot back. "I have every right to be here and confront you about this." I could see a flicker of guilt cross her face, but it was quickly replaced by anger. "Maybe you should just trust me a little more instead of jumping to conclusions. I can't believe you'd follow me here like some jealous stalker." "Jealous? I'm not jealous, Lisa. I'm hurt. I'm betrayed." I felt my voice crack, the pain bubbling to the surface. "Do you even care how this looks?" At that moment, Tom interjected. "Look, man, I didn't know." I spun my head towards him, my anger now aimed at this guy. "Stay out of this. You're the one she was meeting, not me." "Eric, please," Lisa said, her voice softening. "I'm sorry you found out this way. I never meant to hurt you. It's complicated." "Complicated?" I echoed, my voice filled with disbelief. "You're betraying me with someone else and you call it complicated." I could see her holding back tears, but I was past the point of caring. "You need to be honest with me, Lisa. Is this guy just a friend or something more?" She started, her voice wavering. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but I've been feeling so alone lately. You've been so wrapped up in your work and I needed someone to talk to." "Talk to? Is that what this is?" I gestured toward Tom, who looked increasingly uncomfortable at the unfolding drama. "You think having a drink with him is going to fix our marriage?" She looked down, avoiding my gaze. "I didn't think it would go this far. I didn't mean to lead him on, or you." "Lead him on? What do you think this was? A game?" I felt my anger boil over. I turned to Tom, who was now looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor. "You need to step away from this, man. This isn't your fault, but you should have known better." Tom stood up, clearly caught off guard by the intensity of the situation. "I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you two were. I really thought she was just what, an old friend." I interrupted. "Get out of here, Tom. Just go." He hesitated for a moment, then walked away, leaving me alone with Lisa. The silence between us was deafening. "Eric," she began, but I cut her off again. Just don't. I need time to think." I turned to leave, but she grabbed my arm, desperation etched on her face. "Please don't walk away. Just give me a chance to explain," she pleaded. I could see tears brimming in her eyes, and part of me softened, but another part felt like I couldn't breathe under the weight of the betrayal. "I don't know if I can, Lisa. I don't know if I can trust you again." I pulled away from her grasp and walked back toward the exit, my heart heavy with despair. The night air hit me like a cold slap as I stepped outside. I needed air, I needed space, and above all, I needed to think. I pulled out my phone and dialed Mike's number. I needed to talk to someone who understood, someone who wouldn't judge. As the phone rang, I realized that I stood at a crossroads in my life, and I had no idea which path to take. Mike answered on the second ring, his voice a comforting anchor in the chaos swirling inside my head. "Eric, what's up, man?" "I need to talk," I said, my voice shaky. "Can you meet me at the bar?" "Yeah, sure. I'm actually going to be off in about half an hour. Want me to save you a seat?" "Yeah, please," I replied, my mind racing. "I'll be there." I drove to the bar, my heart heavy with uncertainty. I felt lost, like a ship without a rudder in a stormy sea. As I pulled into the parking lot, my mind replayed the confrontation with Lisa over and over. How had it come to this? Was I wrong to confront her? I had so many questions but no answers. When I walked into the bar, Mike was already seated at a corner table, a drink in front of him. He looked up and waved, and as I approached, I could see concern etched on his face. "Hey man, you look rough. What happened?" I sat down and ran my hand through my hair, taking a moment to gather my thoughts. "It's Lisa. I caught her with another guy." Mike's eyes widened. "Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. What happened?" I took a deep breath and recounted everything: the receipt, the confrontation, the note, and finally her meeting with Tom. As I spoke, I watched Mike's expression shift from sympathy to anger. "Dude, that's messed up. You deserve better than that," he said, shaking his head. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know," I admitted, feeling the weight of uncertainty settle on my shoulders. "I love her, but can I really trust her again? She lied to my face. I don't know if I can forgive that." "Look, man, it's one thing to mess up, but lying about it, that's a different story. You need to think about what you want," he said, his voice steady. "Do you want to try and work it out, or are you ready to walk away?" The question hung in the air like a heavy fog. I thought about all the moments we had shared, our wedding day, lazy Sunday mornings, our dreams for the future. But then I remembered the pain of betrayal, the hollow feeling in my chest. "I just feel so betrayed, Mike. I don't know if I can face her again, let alone rebuild what we had." Mike considered my words, his brow furrowed in thought. "Maybe you need to give yourself some time, take a step back. You don't have to make any decisions right now." I nodded, appreciating his perspective. "Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just hard. I never thought we'd end up here." "None of us do, man. Relationships are complicated. But you deserve to be happy, whatever that means," he said, raising his glass to toast. "You'll figure it out. Just take care of yourself first." We spent the next few hours talking, sharing laughs, and drowning out the noise in my head with drinks. As the night wore on, I felt a little lighter, but the reality of my situation loomed like a shadow. I knew I'd have to face Lisa again. I couldn't avoid it forever. The following day, I woke up with a pounding headache and a heavy heart. I needed to confront Lisa again, but this time I wanted to approach the situation differently. I wanted to hear her side, no accusations, just a calm conversation. I needed clarity before making any decisions. I decided to call her, my hands shaking slightly as I dialed her number. "Hey Lisa," I said when she picked up. "Can we talk, like really talk?" "Is this about last night?" she asked, her voice hesitant. "Yeah, I think we need to clear the air. Can we meet at our favorite cafe?" "Sure, I'll be there," she replied, and I could hear the relief in her voice. When I arrived at the cafe, I felt a mix of emotions churning inside me: anger, sadness, hope. I saw Lisa sitting at a table by the window, her eyes scanning the menu but clearly lost. In thought, my heart ached at the sight of her. She looked just as broken as I felt. I sat down across from her, and for a moment we stared at each other in silence. "I'm sorry about last night," she began, her voice soft. "I didn't handle it well." "No, you didn't," I replied honestly, feeling the tension crackle between us. "But I want to understand, Lisa. I need to know what's been going on." "I never meant to hurt you, Eric. Things have been so hard lately." "I felt so alone," she said, her voice trembling. "When I met Tom, it started as a friendship. I thought I could confide in him just to feel like someone understood, but it spiraled out of control." "Spiraled? How can you justify that?" I asked, feeling the anger surge. "You could have talked to me. You could have told me you were feeling neglected." "I know I should have, but I didn't think you'd listen." "You've been so busy with work and I felt like I was drowning," she said, tears glistening in her eyes. "I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. I'm so sorry." I took a deep breath, trying to process her words. "You have to understand, Lisa, this hurt me deeply. I can't just forget. It's not that simple." I know it's not, she replied, reaching across the table to grasp my hand. But I want to fight for us. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. I pulled my hand back, feeling a mix of frustration and pain. I don't know if I can trust you again. You broke something between us. It's going to take time. I understand, she said, her voice cracking. But I'm willing to do the work. Please give me a chance to prove it. As I looked into her eyes, I saw a flicker of sincerity, but doubt still clouded my mind. I had a choice to make. Could I forgive her and work toward rebuilding our relationship, or was it time to walk away for good? The decision weighed heavily on my heart, and I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever path I chose, nothing would ever be the same again. For what felt like an eternity, I sat there at the cafe, grappling with the weight of Lisa's confession and my own feelings. The warmth of the sun streaming through the window contrasted sharply with the chill in my heart. I had spent so many years building a life with her, and now everything felt precarious, like a house of cards ready to collapse. Lisa, I finally said, my voice steady but laced with emotion, I want to believe you. I want to believe that you're sincere in wanting to fix this, but I need you to understand how hard this is for me. She nodded earnestly, wiping a tear from her cheek. I know, I've hurt you and I can't take that back, but I still love you, Eric. I don't want to lose you. I need time, I replied, feeling a flicker of hope mixed with the fear of getting hurt again. Time to think, to process everything. I can't just jump back into things like nothing happened. That's fair, she admitted, her voice softening. I'll give you the space you need, but please don't shut me out completely. Let's talk, even if it's just to check in on each other. I nodded, grateful for her understanding. I can agree to that, but I also think we need to set some boundaries while I figure things out. No more secrets, no more hiding things. I need to feel safe in this relationship again. Absolutely. I promise no more lies. I'll be open about everything, she said earnestly. I'll be right here whenever you're ready to talk. After our conversation, I felt a mix of relief and apprehension. I left the cafe knowing that it wasn't an immediate fix, but at least a step forward. I had made the choice to give her a chance, but the path to rebuilding trust would not be easy. I needed to start by focusing on myself and my feelings. In the days that followed, I took time for introspection. I went back to the things I loved, hiking with Max, diving into books I had put off, and spending time with Mike. I found solace in those small moments, but the shadows of betrayal lingered in the back of my mind. I had a list of questions that I needed to answer for myself. Could I forgive? Could I trust Lisa again? And, most importantly, did I want to? But the more time I spent apart from Lisa, the more I realized how much I missed her. I missed our late-night talks, her laughter, and the warmth of her presence. Even with the hurt, there was still a bond that felt worth exploring. I decided to reach out to her again, this time with a plan. I called her on a Saturday afternoon. Hey, Lisa, can we meet up again? I've been thinking about what we talked about. Of course. Where do you want to meet? How about that park we used to go to, the one near the lake? I suggested, hoping the serene setting would allow for an open and honest conversation. That sounds perfect. I'll see you there, she replied, her excitement palpable. When I arrived at the park, I found her sitting on a bench looking nervous. I took a deep breath as I approached, feeling both anticipation and anxiety. Hey, I said, and she stood to greet me, her face brightening. Hey. I'm glad you wanted to meet, she said, her voice warm but tinged with uncertainty. Yeah, me too, I've been doing a lot of thinking, I admitted, taking a seat beside her, and I want to talk about the future, our future. Her eyes lit up with hope. Okay, I'm ready to hear whatever you have to say. I'm not going to lie, things aren't going to go back to normal overnight. It's going to take time, and I'm going to need you to be patient with me. I began, keeping my eyes focused on her. But I want to try, I want to work on us. I'll do whatever it takes, Eric, she said earnestly, reaching out to hold my hand. I want to rebuild what we had. I miss you so much. I miss you too, I admitted, feeling a flicker of warmth. But we need to set some ground rules. I need to feel secure in this relationship again. Absolutely. What do you need? She asked, her expression earnest. For starters, no more secrets. I want open communication about everything, even the uncomfortable things. If you're feeling something, I want to know. And if something starts to bother you, don't wait to bring it up, I explained, hoping she understood the importance of this foundation. "I can do that, I promise," she replied, squeezing my hand. "I'll be an open book, and I want you to feel like you can tell me anything too." I nodded, feeling a little more at ease. "And I think we should both consider going to counseling. I think it could really help us navigate these rough waters." "Counseling? That's a great idea," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm giving me hope. "I'd be open to that. I think it's so important to have that support." As we talked, I realized that while the betrayal had shaken the very foundation of our relationship, there was still something worth saving. We began to strategize a plan for moving forward, discussing our needs and how to prioritize each other moving forward. But as we dove deeper, I couldn't help but wonder if I could truly let go of the pain. Would this actually work? Could we overcome this obstacle together? As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the park, I felt a twinge of hope for the first time since everything had unraveled. The journey ahead would be challenging, but it felt like a challenge worth taking. We had both made mistakes, but perhaps with time and effort we could find our way back to each other. The question now was whether we could build a stronger foundation, one made from honesty, vulnerability, and trust. I wasn't sure what the future held, but I knew that taking this step forward together felt like the right decision. We had a long road ahead, but at least we were taking it together. In the weeks that followed our talk at the park, Lisa and I entered a new phase of our relationship, one marked by raw honesty and a commitment to rebuilding what had been broken. The path wasn't easy. Every day brought new challenges and moments of hesitation, but we faced them together. We began attending couples counseling, which turned out to be invaluable. Our therapist helped us navigate the difficult conversations that were necessary for healing. I learned to voice my feelings of betrayal and insecurity without letting anger dictate my words. Lisa, in turn, opened up about her feelings of loneliness and vulnerability that had led her to seek comfort elsewhere. Every session felt like peeling back layers of hurt, exposing the rawness beneath. We learned to communicate better, to listen to each other without judgment, and to express our needs more clearly. It was humbling and at times painful, but I could feel the bond between us strengthening, albeit slowly. One day during a session, I found myself articulating something I had been wrestling with for a long time. "I think I have to forgive you, not just for me but for us," I said, looking Lisa in the eyes. "Holding on to this anger isn't helping either of us. It's like carrying a weight that drags us down." Tears filled her eyes as she nodded, her expression reflecting a mix of sadness and gratitude. "I've carried a weight too, Eric. The guilt of hurting you has haunted me. I want to move forward, but I need to know that you're with me, that we can heal together." "I'm here," I replied, my voice steady. "I want to try. I want us to get back to a place where we can trust each other again." As the weeks turned into months, I found myself learning to let go of resentment and embrace the possibility of a future together. It wasn't a straight path. There were times when doubt crept in, moments when I'd see her on her phone and my heart would race with fear. But each time we addressed those feelings openly, reassuring one another. One evening we were sitting on the couch together, watching a movie, when Lisa turned to me. "Do you remember when we used to go on spontaneous road trips?" she asked, a nostalgic smile on her face. "Yeah," I chuckled, memories flooding back. "Especially that one time we got lost and ended up in that tiny diner. I think we almost broke down laughing over those terrible burgers." "Exactly, I miss that," she said, her eyes sparkling. "We should do that again, just the two of us, no distractions." I felt a warmth spread through me at the thought. "I'd love that, it sounds perfect." So we took a trip, a weekend getaway to a cabin in the woods. It was a chance for us to reconnect, to rediscover the joy we once shared. We hiked, talked, and laughed, slowly chipping away at the barriers that had formed between us. Sitting by the fire one night, I looked over at Lisa, her face illuminated by the flames, and realized how much I had missed her. As I held her close, I felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over me. "Thank you for fighting for us," I whispered, my heart full. "I know it hasn't been easy." "I'll always fight for us, Eric," she replied softly, leaning her head against my shoulder. "I love you too much to give up." In that moment, I realized that while the scars of betrayal would always remain, they didn't have to define us. We were growing together, learning to lean on each other in ways we hadn't before. Months passed, and with each passing day, our relationship became stronger. We established rituals, date nights, weekend adventures, and even a weekly check-in where we could express any lingering feelings or concerns. It felt like we were weaving a new tapestry of our relationship, one that was sturdier and more resilient. Eventually, I found myself looking toward the future with hope. While I could never fully erase the pain of what had happened, I learned that love is a choice. It's about choosing to see the best in each other, to forgive when it's hard, and to commit to growth. I realized that we were both imperfect humans, navigating this complex journey together, and that was okay. As I sit here reflecting on everything we've been through, I recognize that we've come a long way. The trust has been rebuilt, brick by brick, and while it's a different foundation than we originally had, it feels strong. I've learned that relationships require work, vulnerability, and a willingness to face discomfort. I learned to communicate my feelings instead of letting them fester, and Lisa learned to be open about her needs. We both learned the importance of trust, honesty, and the power of forgiveness. To anyone going through a similar situation, know that it's possible to heal and grow, even from the deepest wounds. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to confront the hard truths, but if love is there, it can guide you through the darkest of times. Just remember, you're not alone, and with commitment and understanding, you can emerge stronger together.